Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over my buyer's guide for the Dodge Durango. I just needed like a quick little mental break from trucks for a minute, so we're going to be doing the Durango today. But anyways, as always, we're going to quickly get into the different trim packages and what I recommend with each package itself. And also we're going to get into the engine options, obviously, which we're actually going to get into those first before the trim packages. And then we're going to go over common issues, and then we're going to go over pricing, and yeah, then we'll sum things up. So let's get into the video. Let's get into the engine options for the Dodge Durango. Now, there are currently 3 engine options. There is soon to be a 4th, which I'll get into at the end. But the first engine option you can get with the Durango is the 3.6 liter V6, which is paired to an 8-speed automatic. Now, I'm not going to mention that 8-speed automatic anymore because it's across the board, they all have an 8-speed automatic. Now, in terms of the trim packages this is available in, it's available in every package except for the RT and the SRT. Other than that, you can get it in every single trim package. The 3.6 liter V6 is going to have the best fuel economy, but it is going to have the lowest power and towing capacity. Power is only about 300 horsepower, and then towing capacity is only about 6,200 pounds, which I shouldn't be saying only on the towing capacity because that's a pretty good towing capacity for an SUV. Now, the next engine is the 5.7 liter Hemi V8, which is around 360 horsepower, and it's good for 7,400 pounds towing capacity. Now, this one is available in the Citadel and the RT only. Now, fuel economy is going to be worse than the V6, but it's funny is the highway fuel economy is pretty similar to the V6. It's just the city fuel economy on the Hemi is significantly less, and this is my favorite pick for engine options on the Durango because it's still like a practical engine. It sounds good, has good power, and it has good towing capacity, and the price range for the vehicles you can get it in are pretty reasonable. Now, the last engine option is the bad boy SRT. And this one is about 475 horsepower, which is crazy for a third-row SUV. Towing capacity is quite a bit. You're about 8,700 pounds with the SRT. Fuel economy is going to be the worst, and it's only available in the SRT Durango at this point, which is always going to stay that way because it's the SRT engine. But regardless of that, that right now is your like range-topping model and the range-topping engine. However, Dodge has said that they are going to make a Hellcat Durango probably for the next model year, so 2021. And that'll be crazy because you'll have a Durango with 700 horsepower. And I mean, I don't need to say anything else. Third row SUV, 700 horsepower, done. Let's get into the different trim packages for the Durango. Start at the bottom, there's the SXT. This is your base model Durango. It is going to come with the cool LED light bar. That's just across the lineup. They put that as standard equipment. But cloth seats on the interior, smaller touchscreen, and you aren't going to have full power seats for all of these seats. And again, this is like your base model, entry-level Durango. And I mean, it's pretty inexpensive. They start in the $30,000 range. But again, if you just want a Durango for the towing and for the third row utility, the SXT is a great route to go because it's pretty basic. If I were to get an SXT, all that I would really add would be a bigger infotainment system. Other than that, I'd keep it pretty simple. Maybe add heated seats to it. But they all come with tri-zone climate as standard, and so there's just not a whole lot that I would add for just what that vehicle is used for. Now, the next one is the SXT Plus, which is basically just an SXT with more standard equipment. And if you just want to have a fully loaded SXT, but you don't want to lose a lot to option depreciation, the SXT Plus is a great route to go. And yeah, it's that simple. Now, the next one is the GT. This is kind of like your entry-level luxury Durango. The GT comes with the like suede seats. They have like leather bolsters, but then they're like suede seats. Pretty interesting. They feel really nice, but it'll come with a little bit more in terms of standard equipment. It still has a smaller touchscreen as standard. You have to go up to the GT Plus to get a little bit nicer stuff, but you can add the bigger touchscreen to the GT, which I would do. I would also probably add blind spot monitoring to it. Heated second row, which used to be standard but isn't. I'd also add a power lift tailgate to it. Just some nice features because, again, that is the entry-level variant. So I'd add a couple things, but not a whole lot to it. And then this is the first package that I might consider doing some aesthetic upgrades. You can get the sport hood on it, which might be a cool option to go for. It already comes with a pretty cool front end, so there's not really much that you would need to do on that side of things. And I already mentioned it, but the GT Plus is a GT just with more standard equipment. So if you have a lot of options you want to add, look at the GT Plus and see if it has those options as standard. And if it does, then just get that package. Now, the next one is the Citadel. And this is kind of like your fully blown luxury Durango. And again, it comes with the V6 or the 5.7 Hemi. This is the first time you can get a different engine option in the Durango, is that the Citadel package. It'll come with the nicer leather seats. You get heated, cooled seats, the bigger touch screen. It kind of has nice chrome accenting all around the exterior of the car. So again, this is like the luxury variant is the best way to look at it. And if I were to get the Citadel, really the only things that I'd add is maybe some safety stuff like blind spot monitoring, the adaptive cruise control. But other than that, I wouldn't add a whole lot. They don't offer a panoramic sunroof, so I wouldn't really add a sunroof. And I might add the leather dash package. They have a package where you can do like leather stitching on the dash and a suede headliner. I would definitely consider adding that because it makes it look a whole lot nicer. And that's actually a package I'd recommend for the Citadel, the RT, and the SRT. Is just the nicer dash and the headliner, because it definitely makes the vehicle feel more premium. And that leads me into the RT. The RT comes with one engine option only, and that's the 5.7 Hemi V8. And this one is the most popular Durango, or at least the most popular one when I worked at the dealership that we'd sell the most of. And that was just because it had the Hemi, so it had good towing capacity. They look really cool. They look just like the SRT because they have the sport hood and the front fascia, and you can get them all blacked out, which that's a package I recommend. The blacktop package blacks out the mirrors and the rims, and I think it's a really cool look for the RT. Other than that, I might add captain chairs if I wanted some space between the kids, if I obviously had kids, which I don't right now. But yeah, I'd probably keep things pretty simple. Other than that, is just maybe add some touches, again, the safety tech, but really overall with the RT, keep it pretty simple. And the other thing to mention is the RT doesn't come standard with ventilated seats anymore, so I would add that as an option, is the full leather seats, so I could have that ventilated function. And then finally, the SRT. This is the range-topping bad boy sports car third row SUV craziness. And in terms of the SRT, again, I'd add that like dash and headliner package, and I would consider adding the safety tech. But other than that, the SRT comes standard with pretty much everything. You get heated, cooled seats, the bigger touchscreen, all that kind of stuff is standard. So there really isn't a bunch that I would add to it. It already comes with enough that I'd probably keep it pretty basic in terms of the option setup. But let's get into the common issues that I've seen with the Durangos. The first thing is the taillights. Sometimes the seals break on them and they can kind of flood with water, which isn't good, and you have to replace the whole assembly. So yeah, watch out for that. I did see a lot of issues with the exhaust, like the exhaust manifold. I saw that happen all the time with the Durangos. And then some reliability issues with the engine. Now, for the most part, the 5.7 Hemis seem to be pretty reliable. The 3.6-liter V6s, they fared okay. They weren't as good as the 5.7 Hemis. And the 6.4 Hemis kind of, they did the worst. But I mean, it makes sense. It's such a high-performance engine. Usually you don't get as many miles out of that. So if you buy like an SRT, just expect it to be in the shop a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, they're kind of in the middle, right? I'll just be honest. It's not the most reliable vehicle, but it's not like it's going to be breaking down the road every 5 minutes. It's just be expecting some issues to happen, and expect it to kind of happen with a lot of stuff with the exhaust, potentially with the taillights, and then some stuff with the engine as well. Now let's get into pricing on the Durango, and it has a huge price range. So if, again, like I said, if you get like a base model SXT, you're in that low $30,000 range. If you kind of load things up with the SXT, it'll be more in that like higher 30s. GTs will be in the high 30s to low 50s, depending on how many options you add to them. RTs will be in the low 40s, mid 40s roughly, up to $60,000, depending on how many options you add. Citadels are about the same. SRTs will be low 60s to over $80,000, actually, believe it or not, if you add a ton of options. So your price range is huge. I mean, again, $30,000 up to $80,000. just depending on how many options you add on the Durango. And kind of like I said with most of the vehicles, is I would probably keep it pretty light with the options. There is some cool stuff that you can add, but I would recommend just kind of keep it as lightly optioned as possible. Just get the stuff you need and don't get the stuff you don't need. That is going to sum up our video for the buyer's guide on the Dodge Durango. I think I do need to follow this up with a buyer's guide on the Jeep Grand Cherokee, just because they're sibling vehicles basically. But anyways, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below what vehicle you want me to do next. I obviously did that with the Toyota Tundra. I had someone request Tundra, and I made sure my next video was a Toyota Tundra. So let me know in the comment section below. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you think, and then I will see all of you in that next video.